2008 Honda 300. It's the two-wheel drive. Last year I went ahead and put in new rings in the engine and ripped the head gasket, so I tried to use some sealant, and that failed this winter. And so I'm going to go ahead and replace the sealant, all of the seals. So I'm going to do a whole new set of gaskets. So this engine's coming out. This thing's going to be torn down to pieces. All right, first thing I want to do is take the seat off. Grab your handle right here. Next, you want to take your battery out. Remove those two bolts. To access your battery, go ahead and remove this bolt here. These batteries usually last about 5 to 7 years. So I just replaced it last year. Next up, I've got some funny wiring going on here. Somebody at some point had hooked up a cigarette lighter in the front end, which I think I have disconnected. So go ahead and take off your positive terminal and your negative. Make sure everything's removed. This whole back, to get to the engine, is going to have to come off. So we're going to take the luggage rack off, the plastic, and before we do that, we of course got to take everything out of the battery compartment. And Phillips. You'll also need to take this here wire off of your solenoid. Got a 10 millimeter. Loosen this one later. This one here is also a 10 millimeter. I'm going to take that support out. I'm missing a bolt on the other side. There it is. So now that this one's off, next thing I want to do, remove this out of the way. Pull the battery out. Be sure you put your battery someplace high and dry. Don't put it on the pavement, you'll drain it. Next up, you want to go ahead and remove these two bolts. These are also a 10 millimeter. Okay, so moving around the back side, you want to go ahead and take the back compartment off. Go ahead and remove that. Pull the plastic off. To remove the back door, you want to go ahead and take these here pieces off, these two bolts. This spring off. Keep everything together, you're going to have a mess. Hold the bulb so we don't break it. We have a 10 millimeter. We have a nut on the bottom. Alright, next up is the rack. Okay, so under the exhaust on the right hand side, there's two up in here. There's one up here. So these two and that one. Using a 12 millimeter. So we got one here, one here, one here, one here. I already removed this one. All right, once you remove the 3 bolts on this side of the rack, and the 3 bolts on this side, make sure your wire's clear. Missed a couple. There's 2 in the corners, 2 10 millimeter bolts. Let's try that again. Pick it up, pull it out. Alright, so under our wheel well in the rear, they are 10 millimeter bolts that need to come loose. This one here is broken. There should be a support. Running from here to here. This one has clearly broken off. Got one here. Down here by the feet, there should be 2 bolts. Mine is missing, but you can see that one there is missing. So make sure you loosen this here off. It looks like just a regular or a Phillips. Actually, it's a Phillips right there. This here should be ready to pick up and take out. All right, this is the part you really need to be careful. Make sure you document your setup with your camera. Take a couple of pictures so you don't get your wiring wrong when you put this back together. You have 3 clips here you've got to release, just like that. You'll see there's one more, runs around the back side here. Very carefully you can slide this harness out of the support and down. This whole thing is going to have to slide out of here, so as you remove this back piece, be real careful. Okay, next step is our fuel tank using a 12 millimeter. Here on the left-hand side, make sure you turn off your fuel. So don't put it on reserve. Actually shut it off. Mine wasn't shut off in so long. Hope that's off. You have a little clip here. Should be able to pry it apart. There she goes. That wasn't off. That's off. All right. So horizontal is off. Once you remove this bolt, turn off your fuel, remove the fuel line, the tank will come right out. Next, we're going to remove the exhaust using a 14 millimeter. You got a bolt here, and one here. All right, we're still working on the exhaust. We have 2 bolts here. They're 12s. I'm going to go ahead and use a deep well 12 millimeter. This one. All right, now that these 2 bolts are free, the 2 up here in front of the jug have been removed. We should be able to pick it up real carefully and remove it. Air filter. Looks like we need a 10 millimeter. Pop these off. Remove these 2 bolts. You may have a different setup here if it's been modified. There you gotta loosen up. Okay, so I took the air filter out. I thought I had to remove it, but it doesn't look like it, so I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to bother taking this here part out. I know that the connections to the carburetor will have to come free, but for now, this is where we're at. We've got the back end off. I'm going to end up taking the front end off to do the front, but this is everything you need to do to get to the motor. You could try it with the plastic on, but what you'll run into is this here. I can't think of the word now. Drive shaft, or the axle, whatever, when it goes back. This here part will become a big pain in the butt. It's going to get stuck on the frame, so just be aware of it. Up top here, you have a couple things you're going to have to make sure you do. Take off your spark plug cable. We've got a clip up here that's going to have to come off. This runs down into our engine. You also have this one up here you need to remove. You'll also have to take the starter cable off. You have the linkage. So let me see here. I remember I don't want to take these out. Do not take these 2 bolts out. If you pull this here section out of your transmission, all of the gears will collapse. You're going to have yourself a disaster. Do not take this part out. Do not pull it out this way, whatever you do. That was a big mistake. That took me a couple extra days. This here piece will just come free. I'm going to go ahead and record these processes, but if you want to get a start on it.